on becoming a global teacher. Our world has been called a global village. It is because the world viewed as a community in which distance and isolation had been reduced by the media. Global education embraces today's challenges as national borders are opened. It paves the way of borderless education to respond to the needs of educating children of the world they are entering. Roland Robertson, a sociologist with entitled Globalization, Time, Space, and Homogeneity, Heterogeneity, he suggests there, through replacing the concepts of globalization to localization, with a view in mind to blur the boundaries between global and local. So for the lesson 1, it talks about the global and local teacher professional. Is there a difference? As a future teacher, we are now teaching a flat world or one planet schoolhouse, which term implies the global education as a result of the shrinking world due to access in technology. Global and local teacher education. Global education have been best described by two definitions. UNESCO defines global education as a goal to become aware of educational conditions or lack of it. James Becker defined global education an effort to help individuals to see the world as a single and global system and see themselves as a participant of that system. It is a school curriculum that has the worldwide towards of teaching and learning. Global education is about the diversity and understanding the difference and teaching the different cultural groups in their own context to achieve the goals of global education as presented by the United Nations. Next is from global teacher to local teacher professionals. Is a global teacher who is competent and armed with enough skills, appropriate attitude, and universal values to teach learners at home or abroad. Is someone who thinks and acts both locally and globally with worldwide perspectives. A global teacher is an educator that incorporates various global issues into their curriculum including multiculturalism, economic, environmental, and social issues. So there are qualities and attributes of a local Filipino teachers. These are understands how this world interconnected, recognizes that the world has a rich variety of life, has a vision of the future and sees what the future would be for, understand, respect, and be tolerant of the diversity of the cultures, believe and take action for education that will sustain the future, facilitate digitally mediated learning, possess good communication skills, aware of international teacher standards and framework, and master the competence of the beginning teachers in the Philippines Professional Standard for teacher. So let's move on to the lesson 2. A closer look at the teachers and the teaching profession in the Asian and beyond. First is the levels of schooling as a teaching milieu. Primary level, secondary level, follows the primary level, the tertiary education, the teacher professionals across the Asian. First is academic preparations of teachers professional and basic education. For teacher of lower secondary level, future teachers should have 12 years of basic education and 2 years of teacher preparation to earn a diploma in teaching. Second, components of teacher preparation. Qualified, professionally trained, motivated, and well-supported teachers are the key to quality education. Common standards and competences were developed as a guide for all teachers. The teaching profession practices in the Asian. First, teachers' major responsibilities. There are 3 major responsibilities of professional teachers across the different countries. First is the actual teaching, refers to the time of engagement of teacher with the learners. Management of learning refers to the activities that supports the actual teaching. And the last one is the administrative work, refers to the teacher's job that includes writing, test items, checking, and recording of the past results. Second, teacher licensing and recruitment. Most teachers are licensed as professional or are certified to teach the country's appropriate agencies. In the Philippines, it is the Professional Regulation Commission or PRC. Teacher recruitment process and qualifications are guided by the Ministry of Education, both public and private schools, under the guidance of the policies and each country's ministry. Teachers who hold a degree, certificate, and have a license can teach in any school district, whether in public, private, or international. And the next one is the teacher and teaching profession beyond the Asian. There are three examples of countries beyond the Asian. First is China. China is the largest teaching force in the world and being the most populous country. Next is Japan. Japanese education system is highly centralized, and the last one will be United States of America. The educational system of America greatly influenced the Philippines educational system, especially in making the Filipino teachers. The last one will be the Global Teacher Status Index of 2013. The index determined the level of respect afforded of teachers in the specific country. The data included profile of teacher respect, teaching as a sought-after profession, contextual understanding of teacher status, and views of pupils' respect for teachers. So let's move on to the last lesson, the changing global landscape for the 21st century teachers. We are in an era of borderless or flat world. Barriers have been broken by new information and communication technologies. The development of 21st century skills is a necessary tool for the teachers. Without these 21st century tools, no teachers can survive. So these tools are so called as the software tools. So how does this help us? It improves the productivity, improves the accuracy of the lesson, and improves its appearance. Let's start at the new learning environment. It is characterized by the following: learner-centered, new spaces and borderless, enhanced opportunity for creativity and innovations, and the use of ICT, or so-called as electronic devices. The new learning contents. With the new learning environment and the new explosion knowledge, content of subject matter of learning has been modified. It means that the students master content while producing, synthesizing, and evaluating information from a wide variety of subjects and sources. So let's move on to the new process of learning and how these will be facilitated. These include ideas of multiple ways of learning. So there are 4 ways of learning that can be mediated. First is face-to-face, which happens in school. Distance learning, online learning or online class, blended modalities, a combination of online learning, modular or face-to-face learning, and experiential or lifelong, learns by experiences or learning by doing. Let's move on to the new type of learners. It is the new breed of learners that does not have age boundaries. A confident person who thinks independently and critically and who communicates effectively. It is a type of learner that they were able to study that particular thing or lesson alone. Sometimes they rely on themselves. Self-directed, or who questions, reflects, and takes responsibility for his own learning. A concerned citizen, informed about the world and local affairs, has a strong sense of civic responsibilities and participates effectively in improving the lives of others. A member of new learning, pop culture, different ways of thinking and responding. Life and career skills. In order for every learner to address the challenges of the century, he or she has to develop the life and career skills. Life and career skills are enhanced in schools as part of the learner outcomes. And the new types of teachers. As teachers are currently preparing students for jobs and technologies that don't even exist yet, the challenge then is to produce the new types of teachers. Teachers for the 21st century learners teach within the context of new environment, new content or knowledge, and new process of teaching and learning. Our discussions ends here, and thank you for listening.